What's going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, back with another Warzone 2.0 video to bring to you, and today I am bringing you a video covering the best sniper support gun that you could possibly take out into Al Mazrah, and that is going to be the Chimera assault rifle. What we're going to cover in this video is to be able to explain what the Chimera does so well, what makes it so effective as a sniper support, how to build it up effectively, and then be able to show you all the good stuff in terms of stats, and also some really amazing clips in the background. If you do find that you enjoy this video, make sure you do smash a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out and helps us to be able to bring out some more content your way similar to this. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into it. Alright, so before we start having a look as to what we're going to improve on the Chimera to make it into that such a beast of a sniper support gun, we're actually going to have a look at the base stats, find out what makes it so useful, makes it do so well and perform so well out in the Warzone, and then we're going to look into what attachments we can do to be able to help it out. Now, putting the Chimera up against some standard sniper support guns, or even the legendary RPK, we can see why the Chimera actually is a decent gun and able to hold its own up until a certain amount of range, and then after that it does drop off sharply. Now, all the way up to 12 meters, the Chimera is going to get beaten out by the Fennec 45 by around about 30 milliseconds. Now, most of this is negligible because you can put that down to human reaction, you can put that down to delay, you can put that even down to a Fennec missing just one shot and the Chimera will still be on target, and obviously that means it's fairly comparable to the Fennec. Now, after that 12 meters though, this is where the Chimera starts to shine, because the Chimera easily takes over the Fennec and it easily takes over all the other SMGs, because being an assault rifle, it does have better range properties, and this can extend all the way out to 23 meters, and at which point the Chimera will start to drop off a little bit and get overtaken by things like the TAC-56 and also the RPK. So what we want to try and do with this sniper support is to be able to push some of those range values out, to make the Chimera a bit more competitive when it comes to those ranges, and then follow it up with a nice sniper rifle to be able to help support the build. So already on paper, the Chimera is already a stunning gun and one definitely to take out into the Warzone. So how can we make it better? Let's have a look into the gunsmith, and then let's also use sim.gg to be able to have a look at some of the weapon attachments to see which ones are going to be the most beneficial. Now, first and foremost, because the Chimera has an integrated suppressor, it automatically blocks off the muzzle attachment. Now, we want to be able to help out a little bit when it comes to bullet velocity, but we also want to be able to unlock the muzzle attachment to be able to help us out with the recoil properties. So first and foremost, we need to have a look at barrels. Now, we do have access to three, two of which are going to be a bit more SMG focused, but we don't want to be able to use those when it comes to sniper support. Now, the 6.5-inch barrels are decent enough. They are definitely stuff that you can consider, but when it comes to being able to beam a little bit more on range, we definitely want to go for the 10-inch SA Phoenix barrel. Now, what this will do is it will increase our muzzle velocity by 53 meters per second, but this will also help us out with our recoil a little bit, offering 5% increase on our recoil control when it comes to view kick and gun kick as well. This will also give us a huge damage range increase of around about 31%, which allows us to be able to push out those range values to be able to make the Chimera even more competitive when it comes to range. Now, this will come at a massive downside of around about 68 milliseconds increase to our aim down sight time, but this is something that we can pretty much get away with just by using this as a sniper support, so we slap that barrel straight on. Now, in terms of muzzle attachments, there are a couple that you can definitely go for, but my personal choice is going to be the SA level of 55. So the reason why I've gone for this one is it gives us probably one of the better multipliers when it comes to horizontal kicks, allowing us to be able to have 22% increase to our recoil control when it comes to horizontal on our view kick, and then 18% on our actual gun kick, allowing us to be able to stay on target a little bit easier. On top of that, we also get a 10% increase to our recoil control when it comes to our view kick for vertical, and our 9% to our actual gun kick as well. So therefore, I do think this is probably one of the better ones. You definitely can also go either side for the Sack and Tread 40 and the lock shot, and also the TYLA and LR8, but personally, because of the multipliers, because of the nice combination of it, I do think that the SA leveler is the best of all worlds, and I would highly recommend that you do slap that one straight on. Now, because I do primarily go into duos and I do primarily also go into trios and squads, I definitely need a magazine attachment to be able to compete with at least 2 to 3 people rushing my way. So I already go straight for the 45 round mag, and that allows us to be able to have that sniper support to be able to take on multiple people at the same time. Now, do keep in mind that while this does increase our magazine from 30 to 45, this will also come at the downside of being able to increase our reload times and also affect our ADS time by another 37 milliseconds. So with all that that said and done, we do need to be able to then start having a look at being able to increase our aim down sight time, because we've already hurt it with the barrel, we've already hurt it with the muzzle attachment, and we've already hurt it with the magazine. That's why, to be able to offset some of this, I do actually go for a laser. Now, there are a couple of good options, but the best one to probably go for is going to be the VLK LZR 7mW, and what this will do is across the board it will give us some increase to our aim down sight time of around about 26 milliseconds, and it will also increase our sprint to fire and our tactical sprint to fire to be able to make us a little bit more snappy in close quarters engagements. It will also give us a nice increase to our aiming stability, further helping with our recoil and making it a little bit more predictable with the recoil plots that we will have. Now, while the iron sights themselves aren't too bad, you definitely can lose targets when it comes to longer ranges, and it definitely does affect your accuracy. So I would highly recommend that we do grab ourselves a sight, as you can see when we actually shoot this target over here. So if I do go out into here, I only want to be able to get a red dot kind of sight. I don't need any kind of magnification or anything like that, because this is going to be our sniper support, so we want to be able to take on close to mid-range threats quite effectively. Personally, my favourite right now is the CRONEN Mini Pro, and the reason why is because this gives us a nice blue dot when it comes to it, but this will affect our aim down sight time by around about 10 milliseconds. So it's kind of negligible, but it definitely will help you out in the accuracy department. I can also see an argument when it comes to, where's the thermal sight? There it is, the SZ Holotherm as well. So if you do want to be able to go for that, then by all means, I just would recommend any kind of 1x kind of sight. So feel free to pick whatever your choice or your personal preference when it comes to this. But me personally, I love the CRONEN Mini Pro, and this allows me to be able to go in here, and it gives me a nice blue dot to be able to start lining up with people. So those are the 5 attachments. Now, when it comes to tuning, what I will do is, when it comes to the sight, highly recommend that you try to swap it all the way down to aim down sight time. And then when it comes to close and far, feel free to be able to choose your personal preference on that. Me personally, I love going for far. That's just me. It gives me a bit more of a open wide sight picture when it comes to me aim down sights, and be able to track my targets a little bit more effectively. But feel free to be able to go whichever one you prefer. Now, we can't do anything with the laser, and we can't do anything with the magazine attachment, so that just leaves us our barrel and our muzzle. So when it comes to our barrel, we will be increasing our aim down sight time. Now, you can increase the damage range, feel free to be able to mess about with that, but because we've already hurt our aim down sight time so much, I like to be able to have it a little bit more snappy when it comes to those close quarters engagements. And then on top of that, we also then go for recoil steadiness, and that allows us to be able to have it a little bit more accurate at those longer ranges. On top of that, we then also go for the muzzle, and what we'll do is we'll go for gun kick control, and we'll also go for recoil stabilization. Max these out, because it's one of those where you don't need to find the nice sweet spot or anything like that. It's definitely the best when it goes up to max. Now, with all that said and done, what this means is that we will have an absolute beamer when it comes to range, and it means that we can actually push this out all the way to some really nice ranges. Now, if we were to have a look at the recoil pattern when it comes to this gun, what we can do is just aim at this wall, and you'll see that it gets to a point where it is just pretty much all on target. So it is pretty much straight up, and then it'll start curling a little bit to our left. Overall, this is fairly manageable. What you can do is, either way, the Chimera is an absolute beamer all the way up until around about 50-60 meters, and it's definitely one of the better guns you can definitely take into Al Mazrah. Now, when you put all of these attachments on, the main ones that you need to be able to be aware of when it comes to stats is that our muzzle velocity does increase all the way up to 403 meters per second, so we've got an increase of around about 50 from there. We've increased our sprint to fire and our tactical sprint to fire to make us a little bit more snappy in those kind of engagements. Our aim down sight time, unfortunately, is a little bit slower, so we have gone from 240 to 369 milliseconds, which is a bit of a shame, but definitely worthwhile to be able to have those recoil reducing properties. And speaking of recoil, we have got massive increases across the board when it comes to being able to handle our recoil. Anywhere between 16 to 27% increases when it comes to our view kick as well as our gun kick. So the main reason why we've done all of this is to be able to have a look as to how it's affected our time to kill compared to some of the other meta weapons that we can take out, like we've already mentioned at the start of the video. Now, if we have a quick look, you can see that all the way up to 12 meters, unfortunately we are still beaten out by the Fennec, but only still by that 30 milliseconds, and our Chimera is definitely competitive in that area. After that, after 12 meters all the way up to 32 meters, there is a 20 meter gap where the Chimera is the fastest killing gun when it comes to time to kills, as long as you're landing all of those shots, which with the recoil build properties we should still be doing. And then after that we've got a small about 3-meter gap where the RPK is able to beat us out, but then straight after that we're then back to being competitive with the Chimera, and then it stays competitive with the RPK all the way up to 61 meters, after which you probably should have been swapping over to your sniper rifle to be able to take on some targets at range. Overall, the Chimera is a fantastic gun, definitely one of the faster killing guns when it comes to the Warzone, and I highly recommend that you do pick this up and give it a go, and let me know in the comment section down below how you found this. Massive thank you for making your way to the end of the video. Massive thank you to the Babylonian family as always for their continued support. It really does mean the world to us. If you did enjoy, make sure you have dropped a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and we'll definitely be bringing some more Warzone 2 vid guides to be definitely your way. Now, if you want to know what kind of sniper rifle build I am running with this, and then feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll do a follow-up video to be able to explain my perfect class setup when it comes to Warzone. But with all that said and done out of the way, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.